The Atlanta question, though, I mean, Brian, where are you now, actually?
I'm in the lemon pepper wing capital of the NBA, the Atlanta, Georgia, home of the red-hot Atlanta Hawks, who have shot up the rankings after making a coaching change. Now, the Hawks have a player that a lot of teams are calling about. That's young power forward John Collins. He did not come to a contract extension with Atlanta before the season, and that has led teams to try to pry him out of Atlanta. And the problem is that their offers haven't impressed the Hawks so far. The trouble here is Atlanta doesn't want multiple draft picks. Atlanta wants players. Maybe they'll take a draft pick, but they want players to help them compete this year. They haven't made the playoffs since 2017, but John Collins only makes $4 million. And so that's difficult to make a trade that would help Atlanta move the ball forward. Right now, I would suspect that John Collins remains an Atlanta Hawk into next week. Of course, we'll see if they get blown away at the deadline with the trade offer.
Bobby, how valuable a piece do you see Collins being? He is still on his rookie deal.
Yeah, and he's on an expiring contract. He's a restricted free agent, so Atlanta would have the right to match any offers this summer. And as Brian said, they're playing great basketball. I think if I was Atlanta, what I would do is I'd take a look at the standings out west, and I would eyeball a team like Sacramento, who's dying to get into the playoffs, that needs the power forward to pair next to maybe Marvin Bagley or Rashawn Holmes, and would give up some draft picks that could be awfully appealing. And if it maybe even it costs you a good lottery pick, and that would be appealing if I was the Kings, and I think that's appealing if I'm Atlanta, if I'm looking to kind of get rid of John Collins, where you get some value back in the draft.
Well, Rachel, listen, if you'd asked me this about 2 months ago, I would have said, you know what, it's time for Atlanta to shop John Collins and trade him. But as of right now, since him and Trae Young probably they come in a Jesus meeting and they didn't hash things out, those two are playing extremely well together. They're playing the gender-free basketball. They're having fun. They both are under the age of 25, which means that they could grow. If I'm the Atlanta Hawks, I keep John Collins. I'm not answering no phone calls. I keep him. I let him play it out, earn his money, show us why we should pay you X amount of dollars, and build from there. I think with him and Trae Young, that's a great foundation to start for the Hawks. They're winning games right now. I would not answer the phone if I'm the Atlanta Hawks.
I love that phrase, Perk, agenda-free basketball. We need more of that. All right, Brian, last but not least, what other food are you picking up for our outdoor socially distanced dinner tonight? Where are you?
Can I interest you in some of the finest Mexican you could ever find in the Alamo City? It's going to be fantastic. How do you feel about chorizo tacos, Rachel? We'll talk about it later. The Spurs are in a very unusual position, which is having to deal with a disgruntled player. We just don't see that very often. We know LaMarcus Aldridge has been shut down, and they have continued to have trade talks. The issue here, they have offers for him, okay? They could trade LaMarcus by sundown here in San Antonio if they wanted to. But the issue is, are they willing to take back long-term money? They have salary cap space to burn next year. They could do that without impacting their roster, but this is not something they've done in the past. Take on bad money for draft picks or trade a guy out to take on somebody's long-term deal. I suspect, as most of the league does, they are not going to find a deal that they like, and that LaMarcus will get bought out by next Thursday. But San Antonio is still listening to offers, and there are a few on the table that they could go with if they decide to go a route we don't expect.
All right, so Bobby, help walk me through the next step. If LaMarcus is bought out by the Spurs, who are some potential suitors for him once he's free and clear?
Well, I think certainly the Lakers, who have 2 roster spots to go out and sign him. I think we can probably keep an eye on what happens in Miami as far as a backup to Bam Adebayo, who's been a little bit nicked up. Boston, could certainly help as far as from a front court standpoint. I think, Rachel, the perfect team would be Phoenix. I think he would be a perfect fit in Phoenix, backing up DeAndre Ayton. Suns would have to create a roster spot. But, yeah, I agree with Windy on this. And the one thing with San Antonio, they do not make trades. The last trade that they've made during the regular season was in 2014.
Well, I just don't see a lot of teams reaching out to try to get LaMarcus Aldridge. He's not what you need in today's league. If you have a today's big, you want a guy that's either going to be able to stretch the floor and knock down the three-point shot consistently, or a guy that's a dynamic roller and snatching the screws out the rim. If I'm the Phoenix Suns, I would not take interest in LaMarcus Aldridge because their core is set. Their chemistry is there. Sacramento has been playing well at their backup minutes for us, him backing up DeAndre Ayton. And when you look at the Boston Celtics, that's the team that he should go to. He could come in, as long as he accepts a lesser role and provide a spark for them off the bench, which they're missing and lacking in depth for us having guys come in off the bench. So Boston, to me, seems like the real option for Aldridge, especially once he get bought out.
Perk, I'm shocked to hear you advocating on behalf of the Celtics. And Bobby, I'm going to go one more for you. You are absolutely, of course, as always, Bobby Marks is right that it was 2014, the last time the Spurs made an in-season trade. But that was a pretty minor trade. We here at The Jump like to go back to 2013 for their last major in-season trade because we like to call it the Jump trade. It was a Steven Jackson, Richard Jefferson deal that swapped for, so you know. We like that, too. Bobby, thank you so much for joining us.
Boy, did that one work out.
Yeah, well. Thanks for watching ESPN on YouTube. For live streaming sports and premium content, subscribe to ESPN+.